Hey, what's up? And welcome to our channel. You're watching Pass the Mic with PST, where all things are reviewed. After viewing this video, please be sure to check the description below to find out what we're all about. I'm Shell of PST, and today I'm reviewing the movie Alice, starring Keke Palmer as Alice, Common as Frank, and Johnny Lee Miller as Paul Bennett, the slave owner. Now, though this isn't my type of movie, it is a movie that gets people talking. That includes the critics, and they are giving the movie a poor rating. However, I do recommend watching the movie and forming your own opinion. Anyway, let's get started. I'll give you my views, and then I'll pass the mic to you. And you tell me, what's your thoughts? So, the movie is inspired by true events, and the opening scenes are set in Georgia on a plantation in 1973 where slavery still existed despite being abolished in some 100 years earlier, unbeknownst to Alice and the other slaves. Personally, I haven't seen the movie due to the focus of the movie zeroing in on what so many films have already touched on too many times. Now, I know that some feel that there hasn't been that many slavery movies produced, but I beg to differ. There has been over 30 slave movies and series, not counting documentaries and slave movies of other genres. So, if you want to know about that fact, just go ahead and Google it on wikipedia.com, and it gives you a list of all the slavery movies. Now, during the first part of the movie, there are a few scenes depicting the brutal and demeaning aspects of slavery, such as the scene of Alice being tortured and of Paul in the field beating Joseph, who's played by Gaius Charles. Please don't hate me. I just don't know which form of that name is being used. You can use either one. Gaius. I choose to say Gaius. But anyway, these are the types of scenes, I believe, that makes viewing such films unbearable. Now, I do understand the necessity to educate people of the history of slavery, but at this point, we're dealing with overkill. Now, I want to take a pause right here to remind you all and to tell us what's your thoughts. Do you think the amount of films on slavery are sufficient, inadequate, or just plain overkill? Let us know. Now, back to my thoughts. I think that it's absolutely unnecessary to keep repeating the same story, because that repetitive premiering of the brutal and negative story of Black history, it accomplishes the opposite of what the majority of mankind wants so desperately to see, and that's unity amongst all races. Constantly portraying that particular era in Black history, it only keeps that negativity very present in the minds of both blacks and whites and every other race. And it's being carried on from generation to generation. And it sparks mostly negativity, negative feelings, and sometimes even negative actions. Now, moving on, I have to comment on Alice's hair. Here we see her with a head of braids, and later on in the movie, we see her with a near perfect afro, which she styled on her own. Now, there was a comment made that as a Black woman, it's not easy to do an afro. So this commenter felt that it was very unrealistic that Alice, being a slave all her life up to that point, would be able to get an afro so perfect on her first try. I would like to hear what you think. Tell me what you think about that. Do you think it's realistic, or do you agree with the commenter? For me, I think it's realistic. It's just like today. You have so many YouTube videos and other DIY do-it-yourself videos that's accessible to us on the web. And all we have to do is type in a few keywords and voila, there's a step-by-step video showing exactly what to do. And many of us have watched one of those videos and were able to accomplish what we needed to accomplish, right? Even when it was something that was new to us. So I feel that as long as Alice had a picture to refer to, which we know she did, it was included in the things that Frank had given her. So as long as she had that picture, I really don't think it's such a stretch that she would be able to style her hair in a near perfect afro on her first attempt. Now, there's something else I found interesting, and that's Alice's reading level. It just didn't quite match up to what the movie had her character accomplishing. Now, we know that slaves weren't allowed to read, right? However, I don't remember which website, but I do remember reading it and seeing it somewhere on the website that Mr. Paul Bennett, the slave owner, taught Alice to read, but only enough so that she would be able to read him a portion of the Bible on Sundays. So she wasn't an avid reader, wouldn't you say? But despite that fact, she's able to take in all this readable information that Frank provides for her to the point that she's totally riled up and ready for revenge. Now that doesn't seem realistic to me. Let me know if you agree. And to add to the reading issue, there's the scene where Alice appears to be reading a map. Wouldn't you say that's unrealistic? I don't know. I admit I may be a bit too critical here, especially since it looks as if Frank may be there viewing the map with her, in which he's possibly helping her in understanding it. So don't forget to comment on this after you view this video, because I'm dying to see if I'm alone in this reasoning. But as a slave, not allowed to read except you're in the presence of your master, how could she possibly know how to read a map? As it is, a map is hard to read for many who've had years of schooling. So, no, I'm sticking with it. There's no way she can read a map so soon after escaping a life of slavery. But who knows? Maybe one of you may be able to change my mind with your comments. On to my next issue. In the trailer, it highlights revenge being long overdue. Now, I don't have much to say about this, except it's part of the reason why I don't watch the movie. I don't like the thought of glorifying revenge because it incites hate and it keeps that pain of that era fresh in the mind. And there's so much negativity birthed from that pain. Paprika and I were talking about this earlier in the week, and I agree with what she said. Instead of making it about revenge, trying to correct a wrong with a wrong, the movie should have focused more on something positive, such as how Alice excelled in life despite that humiliating cruelty she experienced. To quote Michelle Obama, when they go low, we go high. So take whatever it is that was holding you down or keeping you back and use that to empower you instead of seeking revenge, which could potentially make your life so much worse by landing you in one of two places, jail or 6 feet under, baby. Now, towards the end of the movie, we see Alice confirming her freedom with much pride and confidence. And again, this isn't an issue with me, but some found it to be too soon for her to have such confidence after being down and degraded during all of her young and impressionable years. What do you think about that? Is it possible to go through such a trial and still be able to quickly find inner strength and confidence without any therapy at all? Let me know after the video. Now, one more thing before I close. I have to mention what the critics are saying about Common's performance as the character Frank. One of those critics stated that the role of Frank was, and I quote, unconvincingly played by Common, and that there were, again, I quote, no emotion in his performance. Now, if you've already watched the film, which aired March 18th, tell me what you thought about Common's performance as Frank. Because when I saw the trailer, especially this clip here where he states, "It's a death certificate," I immediately felt some kind of a way. And don't get me wrong, I like Common and I just loved him in Just Right. But in Alice, it was just wrong. He just didn't sell the line for me. So if the rest of his performance was anything like that clip, I would have to say I agree with the critic. Well, that's my review, y'all. Now, PST wants to hear from you. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and tell us your thoughts in the comments section. And don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you will know when our next video is uploaded. Thanks for watching, and until the next video, talk to you later. Bye.